back. It feels like it's been forever since I've done a video. I'm not even sure when the last time was that I did a video. Anyway, so today it's just going to be a pretty quick update. Lots of good news and yeah, just kind of where we are for the year. So yesterday we had Audra Lynn. I'm going to say her last name wrong. God, I hope you never see this, Audra. I always want to make your name way more Czech than what it is. It's either Moravec or I think it's Moravec. Audra Lynn Moravec. I'm so sorry. I always want to make like Moravecek. That's not what it is. I'm so sorry. But she came out and did our ultrasounds yesterday on 2 of our 3 breeding groups, and overall we were really, really happy. Well, okay, it's kind of a mixed bag. So the video that I'd posted or shared back in early July, before our family got like wiped out with COVID for the month of July, I had told you that breedings were things were kind of sporadic. And so what happened was in June, we were hoping to get kind of a middle of November group, so breed for early June, mid-June to get middle of November. Well, that kind of happened, kind of didn't, because we had a really early, really bad heat wave come through, and then the heat never really went away, and that's kind of unusual for June, for where we are. And so unfortunately it took them, I mean, they were in with Brett for 3 or 4 weeks before they started cycling, and even then the weekend that we were gone was the weekend that they all cycled, that first group. And so I wasn't 100% certain who we got, who actually stuck. And then we had one in that group that still, she cycled like again a week later, and just weird things like that. And so that group, I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to hope that they got bred, and so I have to I pulled them out, I brought the next group in. They also, because it was super, super hot the month of July, and so I kicked them out with Brett. They again took like a good 3 weeks to start cycling at all. And I should say, goats have a 21-day cycle, so it's not impossible for them, obviously, for it to take 3 weeks to cycle. But it's just unusual, because usually in our experience, when we kick them out, usually it's about a week, and then they'll start kind of falling like dominoes. And this really wasn't the case. And then the other weird part is that, like I said, usually they all kind of come into heat at once. We have one, like, they're all bred within like a 3 to 5 day span, right? And these aren't big groups; these are like groups of 8. And anyway, it's 10:49. But anyway, so that's not what this isn't how it happened. It took them forever, both groups forever, to come in. And I should say, the June group, when I said they all came in over the weekend we were gone, I wasn't sure if they all came in. All of them had like signs, like their backsides were dirty, their physical backs were dirty, and it looked like they had been covered, but that doesn't mean they stuck, or that doesn't even mean it was a real heat. And so anyway, fast forward, that was the same with the next group. The August group is in. I should say too, with the July group especially, with everybody being sick, Brandon being in the hospital, all of that, I just wasn't paying attention. Like, them getting bred was not on, it just didn't make like even the top 10 things that were of concern for me in the month of July. So I really wasn't sure. Like, I caught random dates here and there of when I thought it looked like something had happened, but yeah, July wasn't 100% accurate for me in terms of record keeping, which usually I'm pretty spot on, but I don't know this time. But anyway, so Audra came out yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Wednesday, the 8th. Today's the 9th of September. And yeah, so overall, we're actually really, really happy. So, and I didn't bring my sheet out with me. So 4 out of the 6, no wait, 5. See, I didn't bring my sheet. Why didn't I bring my sheet? Oh, and somewhere in here, maybe like right about here, I got like a little snippet of video of the ultrasound and then just a couple quick pictures, so maybe you can kind of like see. It's really clear. The ultrasounding is just really fascinating.
Cage and stuff right there, and there's its pelvis and its back legs, and that's the baby's butt back there.
Aww. But anyway, so either way, out of all of them, at some point when they were out with the buck, everybody stuck. So everybody's bred from those two groups except two. And the reason I say two, one, I only saw her come into heat. So she's technically open. I saw her have a short cycle a couple weeks ago, so I'm not going to rule her out. I don't think she's actually truly cycled yet. But I've had her in with the July group, and so anyway, she's open, but I'm not worried about her. The other two, they just didn't stick, so I'm going to put them back in. Mystique and One Horn didn't stick, so I'll put them back in with Brett here for about a week. And then the third group is they were bred within like the last 10 to 14 days, and so they're way too soon. I should say when it comes to ultrasounding, you can only, in my opinion, I am not an ultrasound tech, the best time to get the most accurate information out of an ultrasound is between like approximately 40 and 60 days gestation, maybe 40 to 70 days gestation. The problem is if you go much less than like 30, 35 days, this happened last year, and again, super, super fascinating. So last year, when Audra did our ultrasounds, the first group that she ultrasounded was our December due group. They were all covered. They were all around like 65 to 70 days. She was 100% accurate with her numbers for how many each doe had, okay? Except Mystique. And Mystique was 2 to 3, and she actually had 4, but the fourth one was really underdeveloped. Or not underdeveloped, really small, and so actually I don't think she would have been able to see her with all the other kids. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I'd forgotten about Mystique. But anyway, she was 100% accurate with the 65 to 70 day bred does. But when she went to ultrasound the does that were between like 28 to 32-ish days, because we wanted to try and sneak in the January group in that estimate too, every single one of those does had at least one, if not two, I don't know if you want to say sacs, fetuses, absorb. And so, because like when number 3 kidded last year, I was expecting at least 4 kids, and she only had 2 big twins. And there weren't 4 kids in there, even though I myself also saw the four tiny sacs with the 4 itty bitty little dots in the sacs. And so that's kind of the roll of the dice if you ultrasound too soon, is that even though you may see everything in there, that doesn't mean it's going to stay in there. And so that's why, even though they're way too soon anyway, you definitely don't want to ultrasound before 25 days gestation. 30 days at least you're going to be able to see for sure that there are sacs in there, but that doesn't mean, like Sunny, for example. Sunny, we for sure saw 2 sacs. We saw 2 sacs with two little umbilical cords and just the little start of something in there, but she also had like a buttload of other sacs. And so, like, I want to say there were so many sacs that Audra couldn't count all of them. And so, and obviously that's not going to happen. Sunny's not going to have 10 kids. And so, the ones that are not viable, or they're just the ones that'll kind of get just absorbed and they'll be gone. And so anyway, my point in all this is that if you ultrasound too soon, you may get inaccurate results, not because they weren't actually there, but just the body will reabsorb the ones that either aren't developing correctly, or I don't know, I'm sure any number of reasons. So anyway, all of these ones, with the exception of Sunny, there was somebody else that was a late bred from the group. But either way, everybody else was far enough along that their numbers should stick and be pretty concrete. And then the other way, so you can, how do I say this? You can also ultrasound too late, and that happens when or I should say, the reason that that's a problem is because I myself, so number one, I want to know that they're bred. Obviously, you can tell by 70, 80 plus days that they're bred. But I also like to know how many babies I'm expecting, because if I'm expecting, well, there's multiple different situations. If I'm expecting one kid from a first timer, for me, I'm sure not everybody agrees. For me, I get a little concerned because I don't want that first timer who's never kidded before, who doesn't know what they're doing, to have one really big kid in there. That can just cause a lot of problems, especially, you know, if their pelvis has never opened up, if they don't know how to push, if all of the things. One kid that's too big can cause lots of problems. One kid that's too big can cause problems in a doe that's kidded multiple times, and so it just increases the risk with the first timer. But then the other problem is I want to know how many babies there could be, because like with number 3 last year, when I was expecting 4 kids, and she got really big anyway, I was waiting for her to have issues and try to kid prematurely because they run out of room and she'll just go into labor, or to have, I want to call it gestational diabetes. It's not just, what is it? It's not preeclampsia. Why can I not think of what it's called? I can't think of the word, and I know what it is. Anyway, it's when there's a word, and it's not gestational diabetes, and it's not preeclampsia, because those are human terms, and that is not what we call it in goats. Anyway, it is basically when there's too many babies. The babies are either the mom, number one, runs out of space to feed herself, like the babies put too much pressure and take up too much space with against her rumen, and so she can't properly digest and take in the food to meet the energy needs of the kids, and so then the kids start stripping her of her energy, and so they'll start, it's ketosis in goats. Why can I not think of what that's called? Oh, I'm having such a brain fart. What is it called? Toxemia. It's toxemia. Pregnancy toxemia. Sorry, it just hit me. Toxemia. And that's when basically there's too big of babies, too many babies, they take up too much space, their energy requirements are too high on the mom for the mom to be able to help them grow and maintain her own health. And so then those babies literally basically end up eating mom alive, and obviously not like eating mom alive, but they end up stripping her of her fat, her muscles, and in a weird way, which is not the right word, but like they end up cannibalizing her to keep themselves alive, and then if she can't survive, then they can't survive. And anyway, so that's why I like to know, am I looking at 2 normal kids, or am I looking at 5 kids, and this is a huge problem, and now I have to keep an extra close eye on her and the kids to make sure that I can get them as far along through their gestation as possible so that everybody can survive. So anyway, that's a long story to a short point. But so unfortunately, there were a couple that, there were 4 or 5 of them that are November due, and they were just enough far along where she could get a really good look at one of them, and then she'd like really have to move and maneuver, and then she'd find the second one. But like the second one, she couldn't see as good because number one's already big enough that it's blocking number 2. And so then she'd say, well, there's for sure 2. And then she'd get to looking some more, and she's like, well, I can see another sac, but the sac's positioned in such a way in utero that it could be empty, which is definitely a possibility, or there could be a third kid. So, we just take it down as a note, and then we'll just have to keep an eye on her. So life's been very hairy the last couple months. I guess I always say that. It's always busy. But anyway, so that's an update on that. And so we'll be kicking, and Honey, Honey, our Nubian, she is a first timer, and I know she came into heat 2 weeks ago, and so we ran her through just to see in case she somehow got bred earlier, and she was way too soon to tell. So she'll be a recheck, and then I want to say there was one other that was a recheck, and I can't remember who that was. But then anyway, we'll throw Mystique and One Horn back out. It's possible, based on their dates, that they're already bred, and it was just too soon to tell. But I'm going to put them out anyway, just so they can still be with the group, kid relatively in sync with everybody else. But anyway, so Our next set of ultrasounds will be at the end of October, and we'll check the January due group, and then we'll recheck them. And yeah, we are buttoned up. It's starting to get chilly here. I think it's chilly anyway. In the mornings and overnight, but then it gets still real hot during the day, so we're definitely starting to cycle into winter. And so it's time to start preparing for winter. So other than that, a couple other updates. I'm sorry this video will be relatively boring. I'm stealing some time away during nap time for the kids, and maybe we'll just take a quick peek at some of the moms back here. But another 2 updates. So, oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Oh, we're in one more sale for the year, the Platte Valley Bonanza sale. That is October 2nd, I believe, and we'll have 1 yearling doe, a 50% yearling doe that we've raised and shown in that sale, and then we'll also have a 50% February doe. I want to say she's February born. In that sale as well. So actually that's what we got to do this weekend, is get them ready and pictures taken, and Brandon doesn't even know that yet because I looked at the calendar and was like, oh my god, that's coming up, we have to do that like yesterday. And so no matter how hot it gets this weekend, we have to do that this weekend, and I think it's supposed to get up to 100, which we wasted so many beautiful days we could have been doing this and I just forgot. But anyway, and then the other update is, so long story very, very short. I'm considering very, very loosely, and I'm not really sure. It's kind of crossed my mind, but I don't think I could do it near as well as what these other women do, and so it just may not be the category for me. But I've kind of tossed around the idea. So within the last couple weeks, we have actually decided to homeschool our children, and so our 2 oldest, I've been teaching them at home. We found a curriculum and just a groove that we really, really like, and they're doing really, really good on it, and they're just really happy. So so we made the decision. We started homeschooling. They love it. It's fit our family really, really well. Our third he is still going to preschool, but he has some speech delay disorder and some speech issues, and so we're keeping him in there for the speech aspect and for the language aspect, but eventually he'll be homeschooled as well. But yeah, so what I'm getting at is I've tossed around the idea of someday starting a YouTube channel with that, and how we homeschool and what we do, and what that looks like for us, because like every homeschool family does it very, very differently, and like ours is, we're very hands-on learners, and we have the farm here, to supplement. And for them, the kids every year, it always kills me because the last couple of years they've had to go to school, and they always want to stay and help with the birds, and they always want to be a part of all that, and it's never worked out. And so this will really be the first year where they can come out and help with everything and be a part of it, and because they always ask lots of questions about the shots I give and what I do, and about the process and how it works and all of that. And so anyway, I could ramble on, but yes, so I maybe a YouTube channel for that. I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be of value for anybody, because there's lots of other channels out there that put up really good content for that are really helpful. But anyway, so just something that I'm tossing around the idea of. So, but anyway, maybe we'll take a quick we'll peruse the pens and see who we got, and I can try and remember off the top of my head here who's due with what. Something super, super exciting. So Audra, our ultrasound tech, she's also, they raise Boer goats. Their farm name is Big Blue Boers. And they have some really beautiful goats. And they put on a sale, is it the Heartland? Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. Heartland Boer Goat Extravaganza? Or, I hope I didn't get that wrong. Now I can't remember it. Clearly my memory's failing me today. But anyway, we'll walk through the pens, and I'll try to tell you from my memory who's pregnant with what. I don't think anybody has any singles this year. There were lots of twins, and then the ones that were far enough along, they're too big that you couldn't see. They were the ones that had the 3rd sac and you couldn't see. But anyway, let's take a peek. Well, this here is Misty. Misty is a first timer. She for sure has twins. She's due in January, and so she She has two. She didn't stick last year, and I almost made a huge mistake. I thought she was born. I thought she was like 6 months older than what she actually is, and I almost messed up and bred her at like 11 months old, and that was not wise on my part. But she didn't stick, thankfully. So that's good news for her. So she'll have hopefully two babies, maybe three. I can't remember for sure, but she was two, and then we got Lizzie here. Lizzie was for sure one big kid, but there was another sack. Lizzie's not going to get up for us. Lizzie doesn't care. This is our resident troublemaker, Sunny. She, for some reason, she got bred a lot later in this group, but she's the one that has all the sacks. Lots of little sacks, but then two that we could see, I guess you'd say viable cords and umbilical cords and itty bitty little baby fetuses in there. And so for sure two, maybe more, maybe less. She's early enough that we'll just have to see. Oh, I don't think I finished my thought. God, I had a giant brain fart. So this is Rebar. She always gives me the most beautiful doe kids. She is the one that she has two in there, and one was sitting in just the perfect position that Audra was able to potentially sex the kid. And so it's possible that from her prediction, based on like the placement of the urinary tract inside in utero, that she thinks there's for sure one doe kid in there. And so I'm really excited to see if that's accurate. So here's to hoping, because she always gives me the prettiest doe kids every year. So I'm really hoping she's right, because I'd love to get another twin set of doe kids out of her. And this is Miss Haley. Haley is also carrying at least twins due in November. And so I think she may have been a 2, possible 3rd sack. So she's also a really good mom. And then we have Miss Tori. Tori, we saw 3. Or for sure 2, and maybe there was a 3rd sack. Or I'll have to see again. I have to look at my notes. But Tori is also, let's see, so we got November due, November due, November due, November due. I think she's technically late December due, and then another November here. All right, then we got, so Mystique we're pretty sure is open, and One Horn we're pretty sure is open, but they could have been bred late. Now they've already kidded for me One Horn 3 times, and Mystique at least twice already. So like I know it's not, that wouldn't be the problem. But I don't know, they just didn't stick this time. So we'll put them both out with, oh, look at her giving. So we'll put them both out with Brett again. And then Miss 1049 here, she has for sure, I'm pretty sure for sure triplets at this point. And so yeah, so we'll see. It's possible One Horn and Mystique are too early, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So anyway, that is just a quick life update. Things are looking good here so far. Everybody here, I'll flip the camera here. Everybody in this group, I have watched them be bred, and so I know for sure. Oh, Peaches is the oddball. I put her out here because she got picked on. She's bred. She's December due with twins again. Maybe a set of triplets. I'll have to look. But no, everybody else out here has been for sure covered. Now we're just hoping that everybody sticks. And there's Mr. Stinky himself. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I have high hopes that this group has stuck. Again, nobody in here has ever had a problem before. So yeah, we'll just have to check back in. Hello, Hope. We'll have to check back in here in a month and a half, and we'll report if everybody stuck. So with that, we'll catch you in our next video.